Call in now to the 24/7 prayer line that the Lord has given to David E. Taylor.
This woman called into the prayer line and she had just had a stroke and she was paralyzed from the waist down. But she got on this prayer line and after we prayed, she said God healed her and then she began to move her feet.
I was here in Apostle David Taylor's ministry working the phone lines when a man called in. He had arthritis in his body. He said that day he was delivered.
This lady, her daughter had breast cancer and her granddaughter had cancer. She called in and she said that her daughter and her granddaughter were completely healed from cancer.
It was this lady I was on the phone with, dealing with cancer in her body. She hadn't even been able to stand on her own 2 feet for 30 years. I just prayed for her, and she says, I can stand. And God healed her just like that.
Those that are calling in are receiving healing from all sickness and disease. Receive this now and so much more. Call now 1-877-843-4567.
There is a new move that has come to America and around the world.
Miracles Today with David E. Taylor.
Inheritance by lineage. Electricity of the Father. Did you know that you can come to a place in your walk with God where you can have electricity from the Father physically manifest where you are? In a divine visitation from Jesus in heaven, David E. Taylor received this revelation on how to operate in the ancient powers of our forefathers. In this series, you will learn that you are called to walk in great power and manifestations that our forefathers walked in. God can take your spirit out of your body and take you to heaven to give you divine revelation. Kathryn Kuhlman had electricity from the Father that manifested in her service. If you honor your forefathers, you can inherit the powers that they had. David E. Taylor was taken to heaven, and Jesus allowed him to talk to Smith Wigglesworth, Kathryn Kuhlman, and others, teaching him the secrets of how to walk in the power of the saints of old. You too can have this. In this dynamic series, you will learn the revelation that Kathryn Kuhlman taught David E. Taylor in heaven. The glory power that Kathryn Kuhlman walked in, including the electricity of the Father that manifested in her service, will be supernaturally imparted to you. Now listen as David E. Taylor shares with you how to walk in 1,000 times greater than our spiritual fathers in ministry. He will impart to you these great mantles that Jesus taught and released to him personally, face to face. This is a special series concerning David E. Taylor's trip to heaven and what Jesus told him face to face concerning your destiny. Today he presents to you the grand finale of Inheritance by Lineage, Electricity of the Father.
God comes to me in a dream, and he makes me time travel to the past to one of Kathryn Kuhlman's service. I saw blue electricity come from heaven in her service. And there was this man in a wheelchair, and all of a sudden, without Kathryn touching him, he busts and jumps out of the wheelchair untwisted. The pastor comes, and he's waking me up out of my sleep. Benny Hinn is on. We started looking at TV. He was asking her, Joan, tell us about that service with the man that was strapped down in the 3 metal belts in Kathryn's service. And the electricity came. I jumped up off the bed. I said, I just saw it. It was a real service. So I sat back down in bed and she told the whole story I had just dreamed. And that's when I said, I'm going to pay the price to be used and people get healed out of wheelchairs. It started. And when I went to heaven, that's when I got a chance to ask Kathryn. I said, how do I get that? And I learned that the blue electricity started coming in my services. But see, in the last hour, God is going to be giving us trips to heaven to talk to people who have gone on because they have taken keys with them that we need back here on earth. That's how I got it. The inheritance can be yours. And then years later, God would take me farther than her and give me what Moses had. For she did not have God coming on earth like I have now. But this is how I started. I started on this level as a young man because I was hungry for the things of God. You say, what are you saying to me? I am telling you that the inheritance is yours. You can have Do you understand what I'm saying? Quit doing ministry without this equipment. You have so much riches of the glory waiting for you. So many supernatural manifestations that if you only hear about it, it'll stir you to go get it. I'm gonna share these 5 points with you. I don't have time to explain them. I'm just sharing you. I time traveled back to that service. I was there. Everything she just said, I saw. From all of us saying, and I did it in the service with everybody. I said, ooh, when that man's chair was going back and forth and he bust out of those. I saw the straps bust off of him, just like she said. I saw the electrical currents come in the service. I was in an arena. It was masses of people there. Write this down. God will have you time travel. He will have you time travel and go see things of the past so you can come back into the present with it. God will use dreams in your sleep to verify your destiny and to confirm the supernatural inheritance you're receiving. Do not take dreams lightly. Go back over your dreams and study what God has given you. Then more yet, study the lineup of men in your lineage. Define every supernatural manifestation they had, including their character, and look at yours. You will find similarities. Do you understand that? Come on, I can't hear you. This is how God did. So I can honestly say, yes, it started with face-to-face visitations from Jesus. Number 2, the fellowship with the saints in the church, because as you rub shoulders with people in a church or around a community, they will tell you and say, go get this book. They will help you. God will use their mouth to lead you where he wants you to go. Number 3, reading other men of God's and women of God's books that grabs and calls to the deep things in you. Number 4, fasting and prayer. Asking through prayer and believing you receive. Are y'all hearing me here? I'm trying to show you how to get the inheritance from God. Having a spiritual hunger like Jacob and not like Esau, who could care less about spiritual things. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? Be hungry for the supernatural. Be hungry for your inheritance. Now listen, today I have come into more manifestation than Kathryn because I didn't stop with her. Listen to me. I didn't stop with her. I kept pursuing. And then God started to bring me into stuff that not even my mind could believe. But my heart wanted it. How many of you like that? Your heart may not have your mind may not have the faith for it, but your heart desires it. I didn't know in my mind that I wanted God to come on earth and work with me, but he knew my heart wanted it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Face to face, I didn't know what to call it, and now it's changing the whole world. I'm trying to show you how I started, how it all started. Think about this. If God used just this, a woman within the 19th century, to stir my heart, and this is just nothing compared to everything that every man and other women have walked in combined, and God says it's all ours. Why can't you come on the scene with something prolific? Why you just have to have a mundane ministry to baptize people and stand over the pulpit and just preach? It's yours. And in this last hour, God is going to raise up men and women who are going to come on the scene. They're going to have unspeakable power, powers of invisibleness, powers of disappearing. They will be preaching like up here, then all of a sudden they'll disappear and be in the aisle and be preaching at you. Then they'll disappear and be over here. Unspeakable signs and wonders are coming. Do you hear me? Unspeakable signs and wonders are coming. Everything you read in the Bible is going to be magnified many times. Just because Jesus didn't do it that much don't mean we're not to maximize it. For instance, I have seen men who can call 10, 12 people's names in one service. You read Jesus' ministry, he didn't call people's names that much. He called a few people's names. But who said somebody couldn't master it? The 3 Hebrew boys had power over fire to walk inside of it. I believe there are glory manifestors who are gonna come on the scene, and they're gonna work with firemen, and they're gonna walk straight into fire and get people out. You gotta be creative. The inheritance don't stop at what they did. It's an indication of much, much more. Like last night, y'all heard me pray for something new. I asked for the unknown. A relationship that no man in the Bible has yet gained with God. Who says that the relationships they have is the limit? It's not, because God ain't limited. Why do we stop in our mind? There's more than what Enoch had. There's more than what Moses had. Religion teaches you, don't go beyond the monument. Don't go beyond what they did. It's blasphemy. Who do you think you are that you can have that? I tell you, God say that's religion, and it sickens him to his stomach. Because this is our day, and he makes covenant with us, just like he made with them. Stop letting religion limit you and tell you how much of God you can have and how much you can't. God will be as close to you as you want him to be. He does not determine how close you be. You determine it. Draw nigh to God and he will draw nigh to what? You. You make the first response. God does not decide how close you and him will be. You decide that. God does not decide how powerful he'll use you. You decide that by your actions. I remember one of the things that helped me to start emptying hospitals. I was reading this book by the Pioneers of Faith by Lester Summerall, who really was taught under Smith Wigglesworth. And in there he had a place where Raymond T. Ritchie, he says Raymond T. Ritchie came to Tulsa, Oklahoma. This thing grabbed me. It's certain stories I hear about certain men, they grab me, and I say, I gotta do this. Raymond T. Ritchie did a revival in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it lasted just for days and weeks and months. They said at the end of the revival, it was so powerful that he had to have 2 18-wheeler trucks pile up all the crutches and canes and wheelchairs and take them away. Do you know how many wheelchair devices that is? For big tractor trailer trucks to take them all away. When you read other men's experiences in books, it stirs you to let you know there's more, that you don't have to stop. Are you hearing me here? I gave you 5 things that you must consider, actually 6. Face-to-face appearances with Jesus is important, yes, but there are other components that he'll give you. Lift your hands. Some of you, God has drawn you to my ministry and movement because you're in the lineage. Today, I know I'm the foremost in the lineage of Moses today. And you've been called to it, many of you. That's why you feel attracted. You will feel attracted to the ministries that the lineage you're in, if they're in your same lineage. And lift your hands and tell God you're willing to receive your inheritance. Come on. Tell him. Tell him you want your inheritance. Tell him you want more of it. Come on. Tell him more. You see, everything God showed me in a dream or I asked for, it was verified by a dream somebody else had. Even me being a general, people say, well, why he wear those suits? God told me to start wearing it because in the dream I had in 2003, or before 2003, I had a dream. And there were 4 stars on the ground. And in the dream, the voice from heaven said, pick up the 4 stars. I picked them up, and he says, you are now a general in my army. That's not the end. A day later, or 3 days later, a prophetess called me and said, I had an amazing dream about you 3 days ago. It was the same time I had the dream. She says, in the dream, a man came from heaven like one of the 24 elders. He looked up to heaven. He says, Father, I thank you that I have the honor to do this. She says, you were standing in front of him. And she says, he took a military hat and put it on your head and pronounced you a general. She says, people started coming up to you, saluting you. This was years ago. Every time I have a visitation from God, he sends somebody with a dream to verify it, who don't know nothing. I don't go around calling myself stuff that God don't say, that God hadn't verified. And if you really have it, the proof is in the pudding. Are you hearing me? A lot of these dreams that God try to show you who you are, they are impartations. They are not just dreams. They are impartations. When you wake up, whatever God discussed with you, you have it. How many of you God has shown you dreams about you doing something and being something? Raise your hands. Are you ready to walk in the fullness of it? Come on, I can't hear you. When you study the lineage of Moses, you go to Joshua. He commanded the sun to stand still. He had control over time and space. He could control time. When you're in the Mosaic lineage, you can control time. You can time travel. You can translate. All that's dealing with time. Translation, disappearing, invisibleness. Are y'all hearing me here? Transporting, time traveling to the past, to the present, to the future. All that's part of the Mosaic. God showed Moses his hinder parts, where he had been. He time traveled. That's why he could write Genesis about Abraham, all these men. Do you understand that? Joshua, extended time. Then you get to David. He was a king. He had the spirit of might on him to kill giants. He had the kingly anointing. But he also had a deliverance ministry through worship. When he would sing, demons would leave people. He had a key. It was called a one-step key, praise and worship. Am I making myself clear? Solomon, David's son, his inheritance was to build temples. Some of you pastors are builders. You gotta know your inheritance. It's all ours. You gotta go through all these men, the whole lineup, to find out what inheritance has been divided to you. And the strongest part of your supernatural powers will be out of the main lineage you're directly connected to. Not the uncle side, but the main side. Now lift your hands and tell God you want what he has for you. Come on. Tell him you're willing to pay the price.
Get the Inheritance by Lineage book for a love gift of $25. You'll also receive a free bonus, the Inheritance by Lineage folder, with rich DNA charts that will lead you to discover your lineage. Get the School of Inheritance by Lineage CD series. You'll also receive a special free bonus, the Inheritance by Lineage book and full color folder.
We're starting a university based off what Jesus told me in heaven.
Enroll today, absolutely free, in the Inheritance by Lineage Mentorship Program and University with David E. Taylor. This revelation is a milestone breakthrough that will take you to the next level for the next dimension of your destiny. Call in now, 1-877-THE-GLORY.
It was during the Christmas season. I was 17 years old when it first happened. Jesus appeared to me in a dream, and it changed my life forever. And he told me if I wrote this in a book, that he would appear to millions all over the world. And it's happening now.
I literally felt Jesus touch me. He came to me and delivered me.
I was brought up as a Hindu. I began reading the book. I had my first encounter with the Lord.
I was born Muslim, and I read the book. Jesus appeared to us.
Just like the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream, Jesus will appear to you in your dreams. Jesus appearing to David E. Taylor, birth the Global Miracle Ministry. And God the Father coming down on earth, working with David E. Taylor, just like he prophesied, resulting in the massive deliverance of children from human slave trafficking. When you read this book, Jesus promises to visit you. Your intimacy will deepen. The face-to-face book retails for $20. But get your copy at a discounted price for only $12. 1-877-THE-GLOBE.
The future revealed in dreams. God speaks in dreams during the FIFA World Cup soccer tournament. United States national soccer team player John Brooks' 2014 game-winning historical World Cup goal was shown to him 2 days beforehand by God in a dream. The FIFA World Cup soccer tournament is the most watched sporting event in the whole world, where half of the world watches. Nearly 4 billion people tune in, and God is speaking about the World Cup.
We know that God speaks in many ways. One way God's voice communicates with you, and it's when you're asleep.
People are having dreams from God. He's communicating with them, and they know it, but they're not bold about it.
Apostle David E. Taylor wants you to hear this most phenomenal testimony from the 2014 World Cup tournament. God gave wisdom in a dream to a member of the United States national soccer team by the name of John Brooks. The United States and Ghana were tied 1-1 in the 86th minute. John, who was sent in as a replacement, scored the game-winning goal on a header off of a corner kick.
To take it.
John and his teammates were in utter amazement because 2 days before this game-winning goal, Brooks told his teammates that he had actually dreamed of scoring the game-winning goal from a header to the corner sometime in the 80th minute mark of the match. It came to pass exactly as he saw in the dream.
I was just happy.
Guy, John Brooks, that you just spoke of, then told Jeremy Schaap afterward that he had a dream he was going to score that goal. Dream, well, that was a dream game, dream scenario, I thought, for Team USA. So I was riveted and wildly excited.
John's game-winning goal made history as Brooks became the first substitute player in U.S. national team history to score during a World Cup match.
It's the first goal in World Cup history scored by a United States substitute.
The wisdom that was imparted to John in a dream by God before time caused him to score the game-winning goal. In the dream, God revealed to John how the goal would be scored and the timing of the goal, including that it would be the game-winning goal of the match. You cannot dream accurate details like this unless God gives it to you.
John Brooks, who won the cup, he talks about the dream he had in sports. So I'm talking to football players, I'm talking to basketball players, I'm talking to baseball players, soccer players, whatever sports you do, please do not think God don't talk to you. Jack Nicklaus, he dreamed how to hold the club before he won the tournament.
Yes, sir.
God speaks to sports players in dreams. Every arena of life. Vernon Forrester, he used to be the featherweight champion of the world.
Hard right hand by Forrest, Mosley in trouble again.
Vernon was a dangerous opponent.
He dreamed one night that robbers were coming in. He says, when I was just about to reach for my gun in a dream, I woke up.
Vernon dreamed of his death beforehand, tweeting about what he saw. I dreamt I came home. Guys were breaking in my house. They chased me, was about to shoot me.
7 days later, he's at the gas station and some guys come to rob him. They have guns and they shoot and kill him. If I could have been in his life, I could have helped preserve him from that.
Whatever sports you play, please do not think God does not talk to you. He loves you and your career is important to him because you are important to him and he cares for you.
Charles Middleton dreamed 2 nights in a row of the Titanic sinking, and because of these warnings and dreams, he did not board the Titanic and his life was spared. In his own words, he says, "I booked a cabin in the Titanic on March 23rd. I felt unaccountably depressed at the time, and on April 3rd, I dreamt I saw the Titanic capsize and a lot of passengers struggling in the water. The following night, I dreamt exactly the same dream. The next day, I told my wife and several of my friends. On receiving cable advice from America that my business did not necessitate my crossing at once, I decided to cancel my passage." Nikola Tesla received a series of dreams which gave him the ideas for the technology that has become the foundation of many of Tesla's products.
A Serbian-American engineer who held over 300 patents. He is most famous for developing alternating current, a system of delivering electricity widely used today. At the dawn of the electric age, Tesla's discovery of the rotating magnetic field led to the first alternating current motor. This innovation impressed technological entrepreneur George Westinghouse, who decided to fund Tesla's work. Meanwhile, Edison labored on a competing electrical system based on direct current and smeared Tesla's design as dangerous. Nevertheless, Tesla and Westinghouse won the contract to light the groundbreaking 1893 World Exposition in Chicago, and alternating current technology took off from there.
Hence, Elon Musk named his company Tesla after the famous inventor.
The company's named after Nikola Tesla, who was an inventor. So he was a great man, a great inventor. So the company's named in honor of him.
What did you dream last night? Or what have you dreamed in the past that you need help interpreting? Call David E. Taylor today and let one of his ministers know that you saw this video and are calling for dream interpretation. Call 1-877-THE-GLORY. That's 877-843-4567. Visit the new, amazing website on dreams that David E. Taylor's put together just for you and your family to research dream symbols that you see in your dreams and what they mean. Dream symbols such as actions, animals, colors, places, people, metals, numbers, body parts, vehicles, insects, and so much more that you see in your dream. Call now to also order David E. Taylor's best-selling new dream books, The Dream Decoder, the world's largest dream dictionary in the world. Also order his best-selling book on dreams, The Importance of Dreams, and the Revelation Breakthrough message that is restoring honor to an ancient office that has been lost throughout time, restoring honor and understanding of the office of the dreamer. Call now, 1-877-THE-GLORY. Call them now to the 24/7 Supernatural Prayer Line where miracles happen every day. Receive your prophetic word, a free dream interpretation, prayer for healing, and your free anointed prayer cloth. Order the premier best-selling book by David E. Taylor, Face-to-Face Appearances from Jesus, along with his world-renowned sequel, My Trip to Heaven, Face-to-Face with Jesus. You too can develop a face-to-face relationship with Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father. Connect and follow David E. Taylor on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and many more social media platforms. For updated itinerary, events, and for more information, visit koggc.org.